hello. Okay, so my CSP project takes the case of Al-Matallat in Amman as a site for intervention, as a step towards working towards the safety in public spaces in the city, as like a fundamental aspect to our experience as people who live in the city. So Amman is a city that has been evolving rapidly, and it is home to the majority of Jordan's population, institutions, businesses, schools and governments. And it has, over the years, recently been good at advertising itself in a sanitized way that frames it as a city that is adapted infrastructure, has a lively tourist attractions, and is also like a home for and a refuge for displaced populations in the region. However, as all cities, there is this marketed image that frames the city's cultures and attractions as from the top down and focuses on the central areas. At the same time, it leaves out peripheral areas that are not so designed, not so clean, not so pristine, and actually lack infrastructure, lack services, and do not fit this image that is often marketed. At the same time, the governance of the streets in Amman is very much influenced by a patriarchal social governance that is institutionalized through multiple layers that are complicit in this governance. And these layers could be the power structures that are often revolved around the traditional tribal leaders and reinforces male authority in the society. In addition to honor culture, which is used to use family honor, the concept of family honor, to restrict women's freedoms and their dress and their mobility and their relationships, as well as male guardianship, which is not as formalized in Jordan as other countries. However, it's still a force that does limit women's decisions in terms of marriage, travel, education, and etc. So, for me, growing up in the city as a young girl, walking to the market or just strolling in the streets, it was always an experience that was filled with tension and caution, because there was always an expectation that there's going to be some kind of attack or advance from passing cars or passing men or groups of men. And this is something that was happening to most of my classmates. However, it's something that is often denied or silenced or not spoken about. So you feel like you are not safe outside, you have to shrink yourself or look down and restrict your movement, restrain yourself to the security of the home, and try not to go outside. So a 2019 survey done by the Jordanian Women's Union revealed that 94% of women in Jordan knew of cases of sexual harassment in their lives, and 60% of these cases happen in public, on the street, in public spaces. 77.5% of women have faced sexual violence themselves in some form during their life. So why does this matter? To exist in public. I think it's stuck. Oh. To exist in public space is to engage with your community and to access facilities that are essential to developing a state of mutual respect and social solidarity in your community. If it is an inclusive environment, individuals can gather, interact, and participate in civic life and contribute to the cultivation of social cohesion, as well as its significance to your mental and physical health as someone that lives in the city. So having the sense of ownership and belonging to the city is very much related to your ability to exist safely in public space. And when this access is rendered unsafe, it will limit your ability to self-actualize. And when women or their presence in public is made to be a sexual invitation for violation, then they are going to face an erosion of their mental well-being and sense of agency, and they're going to experience vigilance, fear and withdrawal and retreat from public life, which also is associated with their dependence on like having someone that accompanies them outside, feelings of shame and isolation. So despite these challenges, people have still found ways to create their own public spaces. In Amman's hilly neighborhoods known locally as al-Matallat, locals have claimed open areas that they're not governed by anyone, not owned by anyone, but they look over the city, and so people use them to picnic, to park their cars and socialize, because they are close to where they are and they're affordable and they don't cost any money. So as urban planners, our challenge is to not commercialize these spaces too much that they become too expensive for people who actually need these places that do not cost money. At the same time, interfere in ways that make them more safe and inviting by introducing some urban furniture. So some of these ideas could be, according to a study that was done in Milan last year, some of these ideas, it was a study about the walkability of the city for women and their sense of safety in Milan. So they identified certain design and planning tools that they thought affect the sense of safety, which include having open commercial activities, police stations, wide field of vision, efficient lighting systems, open gathering centers, escape routes, emergency call devices, being seen by other people. But like we can see, this image of safety is dominated by ideas of surveillance and policing and architectural control. While these things could be effective, of course, to deter unwanted behavior, there is the idea of informal guardianship, which must be cultivated, where the watchful presence of everyday people and feeling like the presence of people around you is going to protect you from unwanted behavior is important, but it can only function if we start from the premise and the belief that public space needs to be inclusive of everyone. And right now, there is still a very widespread idea that if a woman is outside and something goes wrong, then she is complicit in her own victimization, and that the streets are dangerous, so you should stay at home. So challenging this very fundamental concept is the first step towards cultivating some kind of informal guardianship that we can trust. So how does design help with this? These videos are from the, like an example. We're taking مثلا مطل أبو نصير as an example of these areas, how it looks right now. So design by itself and technical solutions by themselves cannot change embedded social issues. However, design still is not neutral, and every bench and path and light that you put can either help in making it more exclusive or like reinforce the exclusivity, or make it more inviting for residents. So some interventions that could, design interventions that could take place is to start by ecological softening, which introduces native plants in select areas along the edges to open spaces, but maintain clear views to make the landscape feel more natural and inviting for everyday use. To have layered lighting that uses ambient and path and focal lighting that eliminates dark areas and improves safety. Avoid high walls and dense vegetation to keep sightlines open to reduce hiding spots and increase visibility. Active frontage is to encourage cafes and shops to open towards public spaces to create lively and watched areas. Natural elevation is to have slight height changes that offer views without creating hidden corners, and to integrate surveillance and mixed seating areas. And interactive deterrence is to use lights and projections triggered by movement to signal the presence of other people, to know if there's an undesirable behavior. So all in all, of course, having these technical interventions need to be incrementally socialized, where people can adopt these areas and for their own use and their everyday use, and not to impose a very restricted way of existing in the area, which is gonna like render the intervention pointless. But this is just a call to keep in mind these issues in our interventions as designers and planners in the city, and advocate for public spaces as essential. Thank you. Thank you.